Welcome back to Living Local. It might seem early for Christmas, but the town of Grandview, Iowa will transform into a magical Christmas wonderland this month. And Christmas at the Barn will feature local vendors, food, drinks, and holiday decorations.
Oh, it's sure to get you in the mood for Christmas and give you, all those feels and jumpstart on your holiday shopping. So joining us today in the studio, talking about the annual event is Tenneil Register from R7 Reclaimed, and organizer of Christmas at the Barn. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you. Always great to be here. And this is my favorite time of year.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. So tell us a little bit about the event and what viewers can expect.
Okay, so this year's Christmas at the Barn has a theme, and it's called Journey Through the Decades.
Love that.
Starts in the 1940s. Goes through the 2000s, so 7 decades under one barn roof, and I am over the top excited by it.
I love that.
All right, so how did this theme, a journey through the decades, how did this come to be?
So I start in January working on the next Christmas theme.
You start in January.
I start in January.
Wow,
That's how much goes into this.
That's crazy.
And so I was in Dallas at my cousin's house, and Dallas got a very rare, like 9 to 12 inches of snow dumped on them, and everything became a snow globe. And as I watched his young son like experience winter, and they had the perfect hot cocoa and a real carrot for a snowman nose, I was like, this is what we lose the magic of. Is how these things developed through the years. Like, when did Frosty become a thing? And that just got my brain cranking, and right there at their dining room table I said, Christmas through the decades, like how has it changed? And that kind of developed. We had to pick our starting point and our end point, but I've been working all year on collecting things that represent the best of every decade.
And that's some of those things,
Yeah, so you have, I'm fascinated. So in your barn, you've been decorating since January, throughout the decades, and so, like, that's a lot of decades to cover.
Right, so 1940s to 2000s. In January, I start the planning and buying, and then I spend most of October doing the physical setup of it. And so,
especially since everything old is new again,
right? And
And
it was really important to me that you can find vintage things authentic from the decade, but also some new things that you're comfortable in your home if you don't have antiques in your home. I want you to be able to take a piece of the joy from that decade home.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and so you have a few of those things. This is what you have set up in the barn, right?
Yes.
All these different things through the decades.
Yeah.
All these items.
So like 1940s, we have the really classic like marbles. The game of Sorry came out in 1920s, so that was on the Christmas list in the 1940s. Letters to Santa were big because kids were starting to understand letters because dads were away at war, right? And so letters to Santa became really big in the 40s. And then all of that simpleness is replaced in the 50s with so much joy. That's where the pink and the turquoise, Rudolph comes on the scene, and everything gets really glitzy in the aluminum trees in the 1950s. Then we move toward the 1960s, where people start to think about what they've just been through. Like war, followed by consumer pop of the 50s, and people start asking questions in the 60s. We already know that about the 60s, right? And so things kind of start to shift again, and caroling becomes a thing, and so that's where the drinks kind of come on the scene with all of the plaid. At our drinkery, we're going to have drinking through the decades and have kind of how those changed. And you saw my sweater says bourbon weather. So
I love the sweater.
60s really starts to embrace like sort of this host feeling, which leads into the 70s with the invention of the crock pot. So now we have cocktail wieners, dip, and drinks, and it starts to remind us of how we celebrate the holidays now. It's really fascinating.
That is. You've done a lot of research.
I have become a Christmas history junkie in America.
I love that though. And there'll be vendors on hand, right?
Yes.
That's kind of something you're known for.
So we have some pop-up vendors outside, and then we have pop-up vendors at the drinkery. And because I'm doing this all 5 Saturdays instead of just the first 2 weekends, it kind of has a different look and feel. Not the decades part, that's the same all the way through, but the pop-up vendors and the extras. So at r7reclaim.com, you can check and see. I've listed who the vendors are, if there's live music that day, other events close to us that you might want to include in your road trip. So I tried to really give a guide this year.
Yeah. And you mentioned the downtown drinkery. You're going to have some special drinks, right? That you brought along. And that's what will be featured if people come out there.
That's right. And so they're kind of featured by the decade too. Like, when did apple cider come into to play, you
that's
know,
okay.
into our holidays. We've got our cocoa with the peppermint bark. And then we have our creme brulee latte, which of course came in the late 80s and the 90s when Starbucks started to take over.
Yeah.
And we wanted to feel really fancy with our drinks, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's also like the whole culture kind of evolves, and we don't spend a lot of time thinking about that.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, you have got this all planned out.
Yeah, and so it kicks off this weekend, but there's something special happening on Thursday?
That's
Is that
right.
what I understand?
Yes, so we just had a last minute edition of an early bird opening. So 2 years ago for the holidays, I was in a bad accident in Jamaica. And from that healing process in my life, I wrote a book about how to handle the holidays, like the stress and the things of it. So this Thursday, 4 to 8 p.m., you can do early bird shopping.
Okay.
It's $20 to get in. Go to shopr7.com to get a ticket.
Okay.
You'll get my book for free.
Love that.
And all of the proceeds are going to go to recovery in Jamaica with the families that we know and love down there.
Oh,
That's
so,
wonderful.
awesome.
That is
That's
really
awesome.
wonderful.
And this happens all the way through November, right?
That's right.
Christmas
November
at the
1st
barn.
through 29th, 9 to 3, Saturdays only.
Saturdays
And cost?
only.
Free.
Free. You
You
can't
gotta
beat
come
that.
see. I need to come
Yeah,
check this out.
I know. I really want to come see all this.
It's not that far. It's not
No,
that far. You
no,
gotta come
especially
check
from the
it
Quad
out.
Cities. Well, Tenneil, it's
Yeah.
always a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for bringing all of this
Yeah,
in.
thank
And
you
what
so
a
much.
fun event. Thank
Yeah,
you again.
Thank you very much, dear.
For more information, you can search Christmas at the Barn in Grandview, Iowa on Facebook.
And we'll have all those details posted at ourquadcities.com.